Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. It's not too often you see me with no lashes, and we are not doing a lash video today. This baby was requested. We are gonna do a full face but a fast face and concentrate on eyes when you have no lashes. If you wanna check it out, please keep watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for being here. Okay friends, I have been wearing my faux lash extensions for 6 years now, I believe. I give my eyes a break all the time, but I rarely put on makeup when I'm not wearing my lashes. But when I do, I have a very specific way so that I can still enhance my mature, very hooded eyes and not drawing attention to the things I don't want to make the focus, but making certain parts of my face the focus and still emphasizing my eyes without hiding behind my lashes. Because let's be honest, my lashes hide a lot of the things that I don't like about my eyes. So without that security blanket, let's do my face. And let me just tell you, when you've been wearing lashes for years, when you look at yourself personally in the mirror, you feel very naked without them. It's like, that's all you see, and you're just like, is that really what I look like? It makes the biggest emphasis, and especially if you have hooded eyes, it opens your eyes so much that one of the biggest tips and tricks with hooded eyes is wearing a lot of mascara to open up the eye. But when you don't put any on, it takes some different techniques to open up your eye. And I feel like keeping your look overall balanced. So when I know I'm not gonna wear lashes, but I still wanna put on eye makeup and face makeup, I don't go crazy on lips or cheeks or anything like that. I like to make my skin the star of the show. And I typically go for a very bronzy, summery look. Now, I'll be honest, most of the time when I'm taking a break with my eye makeup, it's in the summer, whether it's busy or it's hot, or I'm at a baseball game behind glasses anyway, or at the pool, whatnot. So I take a little bit more of a break, and sometimes when I do my eye makeup, I'm looking for more of that summer golden bronze look anyway. And so this is what I do. Hopefully it'll help. Let's start with skin. I already got my SPF on, of course, and I'm just gonna do a quick face with 3D foundation. That doesn't mean I skip color correction or anything like that. You can tell I've got this healing blemish. Like, do your guys's post-inflammation, is it more erythema, which is red? Mine just turned red. Or do they get dark, which is PIH, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation? I don't get as many dark spots unless it's like around my mouth. They just turn this bright red color. So I need help with that. Luckily, my color corrector corrects both dark spots and red spots, which is why it's Magic Mango, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and just start, and a light layer of anywhere I need color correction first. Actually, I lied. I forgot to prime my eyes. Since I'm doing eye makeup, obviously, I like to do my face with like before so that I've got a nice base. Because my eyes will still need color correction, I'm gonna go ahead and prime now. So when I'm putting on my highlights, I can also correct my eyelids. Just a very small amount of eyeshadow primer. This mostly helps kind of block some of the oil. I tend to have oily eyelids, so thank me later. I love that one. While I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and put on a little bit of lip plumper because it's gonna turn my lips bright red. And I'm gonna have to correct that too. Okay, light hand of mango, buffed on where I needed. Then I went back, used this dense end of the blend brush, and I pressed on more. You can tell I'm already way more even. Not nearly as scary, nearly as much contrast on my skin. It totally evened me out a lot, but I'm gonna go ahead and use the fluffy end of the blend brush with my main shade now to kind of like step up my coverage a little bit more. It's gonna kind of neutralize some of those parts that are a little bit still warm on my face. So I'm just gonna kind of tap in with this fluffy brush because it doesn't pick up a whole lot of product, and then just kind of tap it right on. Now I'm just tapping on anywhere that needs a little bit more coverage. Here's where you can customize your coverage. If the under eyes are the only place you need more coverage, use that dense end to press on more there. If you need more, where like maybe your sunglasses sit on your nose because that part wipes off, build up that coverage so it has better longevity. Okay, now we're nice and even. We can, again, kind of emphasize our skin a little bit. Here's where I like to use bronzer and of course that glow illuminator to add some more luminosity and warmth where needed. So I'm just going to swirl into both. If you want a little bit more depth, you can tap into heat waves as well, but I am just going to tap this on the high points of the face. Okay, after that, if you want to contour slightly, totally can. Usually if it is a just daytime summer look, I will skip it completely or just tap in a little bit to a cool contour to kind of give contrast to that warmth you just added, and just tap a little bit so it's not drastic. Okay, next is the most important part. I'm not gonna brighten. I'm just going to make sure I don't have any harsh lines, take off any excess, because again, I want really natural, my skin to show through this kind of look. So I'm just gonna bounce the damp perfector that I prepared before I sat down everywhere. Okay, tap it out, make sure you don't have any creasing, and I'm gonna go straight in and set that touch, wiggle, and just tap on. Excess down the nose, brows, smile lines. Here's where if any came off while you were perfecting, I like to take multitasker, a little bit of powder. If you get those spots that just makeup doesn't want to stick to, touch the spot directly with powder, go in with a detail brush, color corrector, main, right back into powder, gone. That way it'll stick, it's set, it's not going anywhere. Okay, then we're gonna swipe generously and get a nice base on the entire eyelid. Eyelids already look way better than when we started. Okay, so you can assess from there if your perfector took off too much bronzer and you want more of a glowy look, feel free to add until you're as bronzed as your desire, right? I'm gonna go ahead and with a little bit of lip and cheek. Like I said before, I want it to be natural. I don't want a really bold blush that makes my eyes look off if I don't have my eyes as bold or on the same level. When I have no lashes, I feel like it naturally is going to make your eyes look a little bit more natural. And so with a really stark, bold blush or lip or both, it can offset that balance. So since I know I'm gonna be doing a nice natural eye, again, I'm not gonna go too crazy on the lip and cheek. I want it subtle and glowy. Let's do a little desert sunset. I just melted mine, so it's like, oh, whoa, very soft. The shade is way more pigmented when you just melt it down. Okay, I'm gonna try to control that better this time. Always take off the back of your hand. And Sunshine State, because there's no glowy look complete without it, right? Okay, and then finish in the face with a little illuminator. This is Nova. Generously swipe in there, kind of tap right there. Step one, do your brows first. Your brows completely frame your face, and I feel like you can better assess what your eyes need when your brows are done. So I'm gonna take my line brush and my trusty Trust eyeshadow, simply tap in and fill and then blend with the spoolie. Okay, now we have a beautiful blank canvas. Now, let's enhance our eyes without relying on mascara, okay? We're gonna do this look completely with zero mascara. Like, act like you don't even have lashes at all. So how can you enhance? It's the same premise. We're going to start with first making sure we lift our hooded eyes, right? Okay, for this look, obviously you can tell, I have very small eyes, right? One of the reasons why I like lashes is because it makes my eyes look bigger and it's far easier for me to open up my eyes, right? But without lashes, I'm gonna think, okay, how can I kind of softly define my eyes, but not making them too small? And that really is your choice in colors. Don't go so dark that your eyes look smaller, but again, you wanna use dark enough, darker than your general skin tone, to still carve out your crease and open up your eye and define the lash line. So we're gonna just start with the Magic Eraser shade, which is Chai eyeshadow for me. And I'm just going to kind of use that as a base all over and show you generally how we kind of open with just a little bit of shadow in the crease. Okay, so we're just windshield wipering and I'm slowly building up that color, and this color is practically the shade of my lid. So the more and more I gently put on, the more can you see that shadow is enhanced. Now this color is almost so light that I'd have to put on a lot more to really like lift my eye to the place I want it to be, but you can tell it already makes a difference in that shadowing of my eye with just that one color. So if you have difficulty getting those darker colors to blend, start with a color almost the same shade as your lid or your skin tone. Then you can go into that next darker shade. And then when you do, and you stick down to the actual crease here, it blends 10 times easier. And you can see it's slowly starting to warm up because this shade is warmer. And then as you bring it up, you're not gonna have any of those harsh lines because it has that other color to kind of blend off of. Okay, so with your eyes open, make sure you've got that nice, natural just framing of your eye. Once you get to that point, you're done with the first step. Carve out your eye, give it some contour, which will open your eye, okay? So this is how we get it to open up, okay? With your eyes open, you can see the color on both. You guys know what I'm gonna do next? I'm gonna take that same color along the lower lash line. I want you to see the difference. You just take a little bit of depth. And add a little bit of definition. It's night and day on me. So all we're doing is taking a little bit of Bubba with the small end, the eyeshadow brush, blending it out. Now, a lot of people always ask me, how do you find the right color for under your eye? I'm telling you, I can tell the difference, and these are pretty much kind of like in order. But the warmest 2, 3 to 4 to 4, 5, try Bubba Sedona. So it kind of goes in lightest to darkest. If you try for example, and it doesn't really show up, which is what it looks like on me, then I know to go up one. And when I use Sedona, it's way dramatic, and I have to be careful on really blending it out with this big end. The perfect depth should be one that you can just throw on with this end, hug right upside the lash line, and it should just give you a very soft shadow. It shouldn't be a line, it's just a shadow, okay? It's just enough to enhance your eye shape so that your eyes, especially if you have very light under your eyes like I do, I didn't use a brightener or anything like that. I just kind of left it alone, and then that gives me a little bit of definition without lining under the eye, which I know will close my eyes and make my small eyes look even smaller. Okay, now that we have that base going on, you could totally end right there. I like a little bit more faked depth along the lashes. So since I don't want to just put this thick, heavy line and have my eyeliner look like I have lashes, I like to use shadows. Shadows are much more forgiving. They're much more diffuse. They look more natural, less harsh, especially as we age and we just can't wear a thick black line on our eyes like we could when we were 20, right? I think you all know what I mean. Here, I'm just gonna go ahead and start with the same end. This time I'm gonna do it along my upper lash line. Again, I'm just gonna go one darker, okay? Not too dark. This is 4, 5, not necessarily a 5 at this point. We can get there if you need more definition, but I want you to start with something a little bit softer. So we're gonna go in with Sedona, and we're just going to, again, run it along your lash line. Gives the illusion of more going on there, even without mascara. Now, I like to keep this a warm tone on my eyes personally, or it starts looking very smoky, like a smoky eye. And if you've ever done a smoky eye, you probably know mascara is the only thing that really pulls that together. Loads of black mascara so that your eyes don't get completely lost in the process. And since we're not doing that, we are just gonna keep it like a soft, more along the bronzier kind of smoky eye look, which is, I feel like, more wearable, especially for daytime, and always looks good in the summer. Okay, you can even extend it slightly to kind of elongate the eye if you want. Just make sure it's well blended. But I feel like this either is plenty dark for you, or some people want even more depth just at the lash line. That's one that I would say pick up a more detailed brush. If you have hooded eyes and not very much of your lid space is showing, like I feel like I can see way more lid than I normally can when my lashes are in the way, but you can still kind of hug that actual lash line and give it even more depth. Since we don't have lashes, here is where you can tightline. So if you don't know what tightlining is, it is using an eyeliner up on the waterline in between your lashes. So I usually can't do this when I have faux lashes on because I do the kind that glue from the underneath, and I feel like it disturbs and will shorten your longevity. But the new etch brush was pretty much designed for this. I don't personally think the Black Friday eyeliner is your best choice because it's not waterproof. I would say find a waterproof, some kind of hot type gel eyeliner, and then you can pounce that in, lift and wiggle and stamp along that waterline, or you can use a pencil. So I don't know if this is technically waterproof, but I used to use this one all the time before I started lashes. And you can just kind of lift. If you're squeamish about your eyeball, you probably will not like this method. Age, it can really help our eyes when you kind of fill that gap and darken that line. It'll make your lashes look thicker. If you don't have any, like me, some people just like to keep it not on the waterline, but kind of wiggle in between where their lashes are sparse. Again, play with it, see what works best for you. It can give you a little bit more definition of thickening looking of your lash line. If that's not enough for you, then I would say just darken with a shadow right along the lash line. Again, to kind of add more depth and definition. I don't like to use a liquid. Again, I feel like it can be a little bit too stark and harsh. But tightlining or using powder, and I don't even like to use black. I like to use either like Cocoa or Revival, just to kind of, again, smudge in between the lashes and keep it as close to the lashes as possible. Can you see that? So that way, if you have hooded eyes, it's not taking any of your lid space, real estate away. You'll be able to still see that. And I do really love this end of the etch brush for this purpose. So here's this eye with and this eye without. That's just Revival kind of smudged into the lash line. I feel like it just kind of gives just a little bit extra without needing mascara, right? Okay, so I did not do any liner on the bottom. Those that can tightline on the bottom and the top usually have to have much bigger eyes in order to get away with that, especially without mascara. Because they just have to be able to close off their eyes and have it not affect them. I wish I could, but I cannot. So there we've got some definition, but now I feel like we need to brighten somewhere, right? I feel like we've got a lot of dark, kind of has that smoky, natural bronzy look, all matte so far. But if you are like me and like to add a touch of light, just open up your eyes. No matter what, I always brighten. So I'm gonna go ahead and just grab my normal brightener and show you what it looks like just on the inside corner. Keeps it very natural, still a little pop. So if you are scared of shimmer, have mature eyes like me, try just doing that method. I feel like it makes the biggest difference as far as opening your eye. Very little effort. Just make sure you're keeping that brightener on the flattest part of that inside corner, right on the tear duct. Do not get it under here. And if you want to avoid texture on the lid, avoid it there as well. For those of you like me that like a little bit more, we're gonna start with baby steps. My favorite baby step color would definitely be Rome. So compared to the one I just used, my inside corner, that was Drift. This is Rome. Okay, can you see the difference in sheen? Very different. This is very brightening. This is very subtle. So I'm gonna take the subtle one with my finger and I'm just gonna pop it right on the center of my lid. And I take my eyeshadow brush, big fluffy brush, and blend, okay? It is gonna be subtle, yet it's going to open your eye and again, catch light as you blink. This is probably the most subtle of all of our eyeshadows that you can use this method, but right there on the ball of the eyelid, you can also concentrate it on the inner corner if you want your inner corner just brightened, but I like just right there, just enough to kind of keep that depth along the lash line, kind of keep that smoky effect. It didn't cover or anything like that. And then I'm just gonna take a little bit of the color we used on the upper lash line, that Sedona, and bring it on the outer corner for depth. We already had Bubba across the entire line, but just that outer corner. Whatever you do on the upper lash line needs to kind of connect. Let me do my lips. Okay, friends, so there's our finished look. Natural, not overdone. Are you missing your mascara? You can definitely still add mascara. Like this look would look beautiful with mascara as well, but I feel like it also enhances your eyes without the need for lashes, right? So pretty much we just used an ombre, right? We went light to dark. You can easily do this with whatever colors you prefer, whether that's like is more neutral, less warm, more cool, colorful, shimmers, whatever your fancy. I would say if you have mature eyes, keep the shimmers definitely out of your crease, but you could definitely, I know I've used all the time, I use shades like Fin, which is a beautiful shimmer along my lash line for a very similar effect, but a very bronzy, smoky eye. There you go. We've got Drift, which was inside corners, Rome, center of the lid, Chai was our base, Bubba was the highest point of over our hood, Sedona along the lash line, a little outer corner, and then Revival just in the lashes. Those are all pretty much my holy grail colors. So probably doesn't surprise you when I use those for this kind of a look. And this ombre look works no matter if you're wearing lashes or not. As always, if you're needing help with your eyeshadow, I do custom eyeshadow matches as well. I will put the questionnaire so I know what you're looking for from your eyeshadow look and what your preferences are as far as colors you would and wouldn't wear down in the description in the box below the video, as well as the pinned comment. And of course, I'm happy to help you with your 3D foundation or Demi Colour matches as well. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Love you.